Have you ever wondered why credit card companies seem so incredibly eager to hand you a piece of plastic? I mean, they're constantly enticing you with points, cash back, and miles just for spending your own money, right? Well, today, we're pulling back the curtain. We're going to uncover the exact architecture of how everyday credit card use can secretly trap you in a cycle of debt. Let's break down the precise mechanics of why paying just the minimum on your credit card is exactly what the banks are hoping you'll do and exactly how it keeps you poor.
So let's start with a really simple scenario to challenge your assumptions about what everyday items actually cost. You bought something for $50, but what if that $50 purchase quietly costs you much more? Imagine you go out, grab a quick dinner with a friend, or maybe pick up some new shoes. It's exactly $50. You tap your card, hear the beep, grab the receipt, and honestly, you don't think twice. In your mind, a fair trade just happened, but the hidden reality of credit card mechanics means that if you aren't incredibly intentional about how you pay that specific bill, that $50 could quietly transform into $60, $70, or literally well over $100. Let's look at how that invisible markup actually happens.
Imagine a young American worker who uses their credit card for daily essentials. Let's just call him Alex. Now, Alex isn't buying luxury yachts or taking extravagant European vacations. He's just trying to keep up, buying groceries, covering a sudden car repair, maybe paying off a lingering medical bill. Very quickly, those everyday swipes snowball into a balance of $2,000. And honestly, $2,000 is a very common, seemingly manageable balance for the average person. Alex isn't living wildly beyond his means, life just happens. But when the bill finally comes in the mail, he looks at that total and feels a slight knot in his stomach. That is, until he looks further down the page and sees a much smaller, much friendlier number. See, the most dangerous number on that statement isn't the $2,000. It's the minimum payment. What you really need to understand here is that a minimum payment is the absolute floor required to keep your account in good standing. It is not a recommendation. Often, credit card companies calculate this as a tiny percentage of your total balance, usually just 1 to 3%, or a flat fee of around $25. And this is a brilliant psychological trick. To the untrained eye, it looks like a total lifeline. The bank is essentially saying, hey, don't worry about the full $2,000 today. Just send us $50 and we're totally cool. But this is the exact sweet spot for the bank. It keeps you solvent enough so you don't default, while absolutely maximizing their profit. This is the moment the trap snaps shut, because that payment is engineered to keep you in debt for as long as legally possible. The math behind this split brilliantly illustrates the trap. When you send in that small minimum payment, let's stick with our $50, you probably assume your $2,000 debt instantly drops to $1,950, right? Well, it doesn't work that way at all. A massive chunk of your payment goes straight into the bank's pocket as an interest charge. Out of your $50, $35 might pay for the mere privilege of borrowing the money, while a measly $15 actually goes towards shrinking your original $2,000 debt. So you're handing over your hard-earned cash, you're doing the responsible thing by paying on time, but your actual debt is barely even budging. Because you only knocked $15 off the principal, you're left with a massive remaining balance of $1,985. And here is the brutal truth of credit card math. Fresh interest piles onto that remaining balance every single day. Next month, the bank calculates your interest charge on essentially the exact same huge pile of debt. The following month, the exact same thing happens. You're basically running on a financial treadmill. You're sweating, you're working hard, you're making payments every single month without fail, but you were staying in the exact same place. The math is actively working against your progress, which is exactly why credit card debt often feels entirely impossible to clear. Let's see how this plays out over time for our friend Alex. In month 1, he owes $2,000. He diligently makes his minimum payments, never missing a due date. He feels super responsible. But by year 1, after 12 straight months of sending the bank his hard-earned money, he opens his statement expecting a celebration, only to find his balance is still hovering right under that original $2,000 mark. Fast forward years down the line, and the situation is just bleak. He's literally still paying off those exact same groceries, that exact same tank of gas, and that same car repair from a half-decade ago. His current income is completely tied up in paying for the past, rather than helping him build a future. So the crucial point here is that those harmless, small purchases secretly inflate into major burdens. Think back to that innocent $50 swipe from earlier. By dragging out the repayment over years and years with minimum payments, the interest quietly overtakes the original cost of the item. That quick dinner with a friend didn't cost you $50. Over time, thanks to the relentless math of compound interest, it costs you well over $100. You end up paying a steep penalty on every single item you ever bought, quietly bleeding wealth without even realizing it. The convenience of the card becomes an incredibly expensive luxury. But listen, there is a way out. To escape the trap, we need to understand a second crucial term hiding on your bill. Forget the minimum payment. The phrase you actually need to look for is the statement balance. Your statement balance is the total amount you spent and owe for the entire previous billing cycle. That specific number is your true exit ticket. When you pay this amount in full by the due date, an amazing thing happens. You trigger what's called a grace period, which completely neutralizes the bank's ability to charge you extra.
The difference between these two strategies is totally night and day. Relying on the minimum payment means you stay firmly stuck in the debt trap, continuously feeding the interest machine and enriching the bank. But paying the full statement balance? That means you outsmart the system entirely. When you pay the statement balance in full every single month, you pay zero interest. Let me repeat that, absolutely zero interest. You get the convenience of the card, the fraud protection, maybe even the cashback points, but you do not pay the bank a single cent for the privilege. You've officially flipped the script and made the card work for you.
Let's look at the mathematical reality of that $2,000 balance. If you stick to the minimum payment strategy, it takes years, sometimes over a decade, depending on your interest rate, just to clear the debt, and you surrender thousands in extra interest along the way. But if you simply double that minimum payment or commit to a fixed, aggressive amount every single month, everything changes. You slash the timeline down to a fraction of the time, and more importantly, the total interest you pay absolutely plummets. You keep that hard-earned money in your own pocket, right where it belongs, instead of handing it over to the credit card company. To really empower you, here are 3 highly practical habits derived from the data to ensure you successfully avoid the debt trap moving forward. Number 1, pay the full statement balance every single month. If you can, make it your non-negotiable golden rule. Number 2, if you can't pay it in full right now, automate your larger payments. Seriously, don't rely on willpower. Go into your banking app and set up an automatic transfer for a fixed amount that hurts just a little, something much higher than the minimum. Automating it completely removes the temptation to pay less. And number 3, stop charging if you carry a balance. If you're already paying interest, adding new purchases to the card just throws gasoline on the fire. Put the plastic away and switch to cash or a debit card until that balance hits absolute zero. I want to leave you with this final, powerful reframe. Your credit card should be a payment tool, not a debt machine. It's a tool for securely moving money you already have in your bank account. The moment you treat it as a way to finance a lifestyle you can't quite afford today, you activate the debt machine, and the math violently turns against you. Master the tool, understand the hidden math of the minimum payment, and you can take back control of your financial future. Finally, before we wrap up today, please note that this explainer is for educational purposes only and is not financial advice. Every individual's financial situation is totally unique. Thank you so much for joining me today. I highly encourage you to go take a look at your latest statement and find exactly where that statement balance is hiding. Master the math, keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.